So the first film in the DCEU is Man of Steel, and as much as I might care about that, Man of Steel is a good movie, but it could have been better. The DCEU could have been a lot better than what it is. Join me in talking about why the DCEU could have been better and what could have made it better. And I got one word for you: Superman Returns. Batman Begins was a movie that came out in 2005. In 2006, Superman Returns come out. And there's your groundwork for your DCEU that should have been. I'm under the impression that DC, Warner Brothers, they wanted money instead of making the fans happy. They didn't think making fans happy would get them more money until they seen a little company named Marvel do it, and Marvel Studios of the Avengers. The Avengers was making money, big time money. When Avengers 1 came out, it did $1 billion at the box office. I'm pretty sure Warner Brothers was thinking, well, Batman did $1 billion, so it wasn't nothing that they should, shrug at. They didn't care. And plus, that's four superheroes. One of our superheroes did $1 billion in The Dark Knight. So they wasn't thinking about it. But I think when Iron Man 3 comes out and it does $1 billion, I think DC Warner Brothers start to get a little bit nervous, because Iron Man was a B-list character maybe before Iron Man came out in 2007. But after it's come out, it's been an A-list character because you have an A-list actor playing him. Naturally, he lifted the profile of the character. Age of Ultron did also $1 billion at the box office, and for Marvel, that was three for three. Three of their movies came out back to back to back. They all did $1 billion. And DC Warner Brothers is wondering, how can we get in on this money? It's ridiculous. Marvel's making boatloads of cash. DC Warner Brothers did the smart thing that anybody would do. They decided to start their own universe. For one, they have the Justice League, which is a group that was predates the Avengers. They was the first team to do it. So they figured they had that going for them. Nobody really knew who the Avengers were, unless you was a hardcore comic book enthusiast. But now everybody knows who the Avengers are. Marvel Studios succeeded in what they were trying to do. DC, they're trying to get where Marvel's at. But what does all this mean? I mean, does it mean that Marvel's better than DC? Not necessarily. I think DC had an opportunity to be on top of Marvel, but they decided not to take it. They decided money over fandom, which in reality, fandom gives you more money. They wasn't really thinking about it. I think when you have too many executives, they make bad choices because they're only caring about the bottom dollar. Let's think of it like this. I guarantee you, if the MCU wasn't making a lot of money, DC would never have been motivated to have their own universe. So this kind of brings us to now. So that's where you have Batman v Superman, which was bad because they tried to fit so much into a 2.5 picture. Yes, the 3 hour version is a lot better to me because it connects the dots a lot better. It makes sense. Certain things that happened in the theatrical version didn't make sense, and I was like, why did they do that? What happened to that character? They just disappeared. Well, in the director's cut or the extended edition, those in particular characters probably died. They showed a character like that getting pushed off in front of a train. Makes sense. Still, they tried to fit too much in 3 hours, and that's why Wonder Woman was so much good because it was an origin story, but they didn't try to fit. They didn't try to cram it like in Batman v Superman. They had so many different storylines rolling together. They just kind of made it kind of cramped and convoluted. So where am I going with this? Am I here to shit on the DCEU? Of course not. I love the DCEU. I just want it to be a whole lot better. And I think it can be. And I think Justice League could be an example of a movie that's going to be really good. I think people are going to actually pop to see Superman come back in this movie if it's done correctly. But where is this all going? DC could have did this all the way back in 2005 when it came out with Batman Begins. I'm just saying, Batman Begins, Superman Returns, it just writes itself. If they would have came out with the shared universe back then, they would have been on top of Marvel. Marvel knew what they was doing with Iron Man. They knew that it was going towards an Avengers movie. They had a plan. As you can see, they had a plan because the plan's been laid out. They've had phases, different phases. We're heading into phase 4. Makes so much sense. DC just wasn't thinking like that because they was thinking about money, and that's why they're rushing to try to get the money that Marvel's making. Marvel's making money just on their name alone, and DC is associated with crappy movies. That's not saying that it can't get any better. I think it is. Like I said, Wonder Woman was a great film, and it showed that it is going to get better. And I think the Justice League movie is going to be good. Now, what comes on after that, I don't know. But what I do know is, had they started with Brandon Ruth as Superman, it had all of the Christopher Reeve's backstory in it, so it was perfect. You would have had Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor, who was psychotic. You would have had Christian Bale as Batman. You would have had Heath Ledger as the Joker. And I don't know, since we're talking about time travel, Heath Ledger maybe not have died had this happened like this. You never know. Things just change. But you probably wouldn't have Dark Knight Rises, which is a great movie. So, but maybe you still have the same portrayal as Bane against a younger Batman. Maybe you don't have to write in that story that Rachel dies. Limitless, 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 limitless. And then you add on a Wonder Woman, a Flash, a Green Lantern. That's another thing. Green Lantern. They came out with a Green Lantern movie that they want you to forget about. It's terrible. And it wasn't connected to anything. Nothing. Nothing. So, what's next? I tell you what's next. Better DC movies. That's what's coming up next because there's a lot of personal pride here, and they want to make good movies because they want to get a good portion of the superhero kick while it's still happening. Because there's gonna come a time where it dies down again, or maybe not. Maybe they make superhero movies until the end of time. I'm alright with it. Hey, thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel. Peace. Clips. Welcome to Good Burger. Home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?